Yeah, yeah. Know what I'm saying? Yo, and look, beat you here right now. It's Peep My Words, Sean Price. All right, rest in peace, Sean Price. All right, very funky beat. Again, rest in peace. Very knowledgeable dude. Look him up. Get a clue. Sean Price, Peep My Words. Means listen to what I'm saying. You heard? One and go. All right. Hey, look. Again, man. Welcome here. All right. They give you another news topic for the day. All right. We typically have three categories here: social, science, and political. Okay. Just to give everyone a view of what's going on in the outside world. Again, welcome to the I.S.C.S.D.R, independent sovereign city-state of the Democratic Republic. All right. Here to give you what's real on the outside world. All right. What's occurring to help you, all right, my little sovereign knights, realize what occurs every day, keeping you informed to better yourself, or give you a clue of what's going on that may affect you or your children or whoever else, or wherever you are in the world. Okay. We'll get right into it. All right, again, we got three topics. I'm gonna start you off with science. All right, little science topic for the day. All right, so we're finding out that the first deep sea fish is known to be a mouth breeder, is what we call it. It's a tricky word, but if you can guess, mouth breeding fish, for example, mostly eggs, right? You got they lay eggs. You got some mammalian water dwellers, dolphins, such like that give live birth. But what we're finding is this deep sea fish is a mouth breeder, meaning that they hatch eggs, and those eggs are held in the mouth, like so. Okay, they're held in the mouth, and they are then regurgitated and born from the mouth. All right, why this is so interesting? It's a deep sea fish. Okay, if anybody watch anything or know anything about the deep ocean is vast, it's dark. There's not a lot of cover down there. There's not any cover down there, really. For normal fish, which give birth amongst seaweed, kelp, coral, whatever it is, amongst cover, so those eggs can be protected. But again, the deep ocean, it's vast, wide, not much there to protect those eggs. So instead, they put them in the mouth, give birth that way. It does require a ton of energy, a lot of energy to do this. Okay, this fish still needs to eat while those eggs are in the mouth. The fish still needs to be able to move around and do things while the eggs are still there. Okay, so this is a new study. Okay, but it's definitely interesting. So what we're finding is that it looks like there's a membrane mass in that mouth. It looks like tendrils, like little tentacles in there that are attached here, that hold those eggs in the cheeks and under the jaw. Okay, it's about 500 eggs that this fish can hold. The fish is about this size. Okay. Again, the study for deep sea water species is becoming more prevalent, but it is new. The deep ocean, I think we've only uncovered about like 10% of the ocean, something like that, a quarter of it. The deep ocean is a huge, vast area that we have yet to discover. We just now getting equipment to get down there because of the amount of pressures, how dark it is, the amount of not movement, anything down there. There's no, it's like a desert, but underwater. Okay. This environment may also favor mouth breeding since eggs or free-swimming larvae would be difficult to defend in an exposed habitat, just like I said before. Okay. Deep sea fishes normally spawn externally, and their young migrate to more productive shallow waters before returning as adults to where food is scarce in the deep. Okay, mouth brooding is comparatively costly investment. All right, meaning that instead of me giving birth and my fish goes up, tries to navigate towards the surface. Hopefully, it doesn't die. Navigate towards the surface without getting eaten, and then eating and growing in the surface, also without getting eaten, and then coming back down into the deep ocean again. Some shallow water mouth breeders eat with a mouth full of eggs, which is more difficult and costs more energy. Others abstain from eating entirely as the young develop and drains their energy reserves, probably dies while the young come out. The parison would invest so much in protecting their young, and such scarcity begs for further investigation. Again, what that means is that this fish is doing both things. It's instead of going to shallow waters and mouth breeding, like most of them do, or instead of giving birth and having those fish go to shallow waters and do what they need to do and then come back down, this is doing mouth breeding in the depths of the ocean. All right, with obviously there are limited resources, so it's living off of something. Okay, and we have yet to know. All right, I would assume that it's so small, it retains as much energy as it can. Probably dies out. It's 500 eggs in there. Probably dies out and gives birth to about 500 young. Okay, so good chances. All right. The next one we're going to go to is a little bit of a political document. All right, we call it geopolitics is what we call this. This is where, and the guy don't like this, but this is where politics gets in the hand of nature. Unfortunately, we can't just have geographers. We can't just have geologists. We can't just have physicists, chemists, and things like that, biologists. We also have to have a political avenue that always has their say in these sciences. Okay. So again, geopolitics, sociopolitics. Can't just have a socialist, right? A sociologist. Okay. Got to put politics in it as well. Okay. All right. Biopolitics, things like that. Now, it says the Nord Stream 2 dilemma, why a transatlantic dispute is likely to go from very bad to worse. Which you don't know, Nord Stream 2 is a pipeline that is being built from Russia to Germany. All right, from Russia to Germany. Okay. It is planned to be a deep sea or an ocean pipeline. Okay, hovering under the Baltic Sea. Okay, let me see if I can show you a picture of what that looks like. Images, maps. All right. We have Russia, we have Germany. This is a hell of a stretch. Probably from St. Petersburg down to Germany. What a bunch of assholes. Look, these are a bunch of assholes. All right, this is what it looks like here. Okay. St. Petersburg probably here. Pipeline going down here, right through the Baltic. Okay. All right. Reason why this is a problem, it's a huge environmental problem. Okay. It's also on the cusp of Biden being in office for the U.S. and the European Union also trying to place more climate and environmental laws in place to prevent stuff like this from happening. Okay. Europe and the U.S. are finally acknowledging climate change and global warming, things like that. But again, economy speaks a lot. Money speaks a lot. And Russia is saying, hey, look, if you don't know anything about Russia, Russia has the biggest reserves of natural gas and uranium. Okay, one of the biggest. Okay. Likewise, it makes sense for them to be able to produce a pipeline that puts enough natural gas into Europe so that it can boost their economy even more. Okay. Germany has agreed to have this. Okay. Germany has said, hey, let's go ahead and do it. Again, this is politics, so within loopholes. All right, what that means is Russia is already building this pipeline. It's already almost complete. It's 1,230 kilometers or 764 miles of pipeline that will be covered. One of the longest offshore gas pipelines in the world. Okay. Designed to deliver Russian gas directly to Germany under the Baltic Sea, bypassing Ukraine. Okay. Look, the U.S. opposes the pipeline and calls it a bad deal, which I'm sure, for European energy security. Now, again, like I said, the U.S., Europe are both trying to be environmentally friendly here. All right, how, in an economic and a political sense, how are we able to have more investors in electric vehicles, in solar panels, things like that, if we still have people building 764-mile long natural gas pipelines? What is natural gas supposed to do? Obviously, natural gas is going to help you power the many homes that are gas fueled. It's going to give you more access to cars that are fueled off of fossil fuels. You see what I'm saying? So once this is built, there's a huge investment that's in stake there. People are paying for this pipeline, and there's money that they're looking for in return. All right. Russia claims it's particularly important, specifically at a time when Europe sees a decline in domestic gas production. There's a reason for that. All right. Advocates of the pipeline also condemn attempts to influence or stop the project for political reasons. This is not, again, politics is such a mess. There's so many loopholes. All right. For example, how are you able to build a pipeline if you don't even know if you can be able to put gas through it? All right. Those are, and that's exactly what I mean with politics. Those are two separate things. The pipeline and the actual gas that goes in that pipeline are two separate things. Okay. So for me, again, and I'll explain. For me, if I'm Russia and I feel like I want to build a pipe in the oceans here, in my territory to a neighboring country, I can do that. All right. I can build a pipe. All right. That's what my country wants to do. All right. We're in the area we can do that. All right. The ocean is not, unfortunately, the ocean is not privatized. It's open. If I want to go out in the middle of the ocean, I want to start putting stuff there, I can, as long as it doesn't affect any local environmental sanctions or whatever it is. Okay. But again, it's the open ocean. There's no one local there. So anyway, Russia's going to put those pipes in. All right. They can do that. But there are sanctions for what flows through those pipelines. Okay. So, example, the oil, the natural gas that goes in there, the U.S. says not to do it. They're going to throw a sanction on it. They're going to say, hey, don't put natural gas in there. All right. Europe, likewise, as a part of the European Union, would likely agree with the U.S. and say, no, do not put natural gas through there. Okay. But there are relations between each country and the European Union. For example, Germany's relationship with Russia is different than Britain's relationship with Russia, if that makes sense. All right, these are all transatlantic relations here. All right, so again, if Germany wants it, Germany can get it. But Germany also has the role of saying no and effectively killing that pipeline. Okay. All right, Russia is finding alternatives to get around these sanctions. All right, same thing I just said, loopholes. All right, this is not a simple, I mean, it's not really simple as far as the jargon of politics goes. All right, the project is about 94% complete already. And I assume that if something that complete would go ahead and go forward with its purpose of putting gas in there. But if you don't know, there are things in the world that are abandoned. All right, and that abandonment comes from stuff like this. From where someone started a project, not getting all the regulations and things done, or saying that, and this is the point, or saying that if I start this project, who's gonna stop me? It's already been built. What you're gonna do? Say no and just leave it? And yes, they will do that. All right. There are homes, there are whole neighborhoods, there are whole cities that are abandoned in the world, and there are whole structures that are abandoned in the world because someone started something without getting approval, without getting necessary approval, and they believe that once they finished it, or once it got close to completion, people will say, yes, go ahead and do it. It's already here. This may be one of them. Okay, maybe an addition to that collection. Okay, and to be clear, a sanction is just a punishment, a fee, some sort of a bill handed to you saying, hey, you can't do this. So likewise, if it does finish and gas is start flowing through there, they're likely to just be hit with a bill. All right. Russia, the country, whoever, Putin is likely going to be hit with a bill saying, hey, this is a sanction. You can't keep doing this. They'll probably pay that off and it'll still be there. Whatever. All right. It's a huge move for Russia. All right. For Putin in particular to gain dominance over the trade world. All right. If you know anything about Russia, its former glory Soviet Union was a lot larger. It was larger towards the west, Ukraine, Latvia, things like that. Those countries responded to Russia or Soviet Union, okay, until they were dropped off after the Soviet Union disbanded in like 91, okay. So them putting these resources to use, natural gas, uranium, things like that, and them also attempting to try to influence neighboring countries like Ukraine, which is pretty big, Latvia, things like that. All the IAs and the stands over there, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, all those stands and IAs over there. Those countries being influenced by Russia and being housed again to them will increase Russia's power. You have two powerhouses over there, China and Russia. They're literally neighboring here and here. All right. And to be honest with you, Russia gains the economic power that they need. It's not much military wise it's gonna stop them. All right, from being the head of trade. That's pretty much what we're looking at. The head of free trade, the head of globalization. Okay, right now the US is it. Okay. So one way that they're doing this is the project is there's no US influenced people on this project, even money wise. They're not borrowing dollars to spend on this. They're spending Russian dollars or European dollars, maybe even yen, Chinese dollars on this. Okay, meaning that this whole thing is Russian owned companies, everything like that. Okay, they're keeping it in house. Oops. Last but not least, it's a social document. Okay, a little bit of politics. But honestly, I saw this coming. So, can the royal family survive after the Queen? Harry and Meghan's interview reignites the debate. If you didn't see this interview, it's Oprah Winfrey's interview, all right, on Prince Harry and the Duchess of Sussex. All right, that is Meghan. All right. If you don't know the history on Harry and Meghan, it's the first interracial couple that we've seen in British royalty ever. All right. And likewise, with the introduction of a new race, of a new color of a person, comes racism, unfortunately. All right. Doesn't seem like people can just handle that someone looks different. Someone always has to say something or hate or whatever it is, especially with just skin tone. And honestly, Meghan's not even that dark. She can pass for a tanned Greek person. You see what I'm saying? Or Italian or something like that. All right. She's not really that dark. So I don't see what the huge deal is. Anyway, it appears that Harry and Meghan have gone public with the amount of hate speech and racism and prejudice that they've received from the royal family. Not just saying the public. I know the public's gonna do what they do, but it's from the royal family. Prince Harry's mother, Queen Elizabeth. Okay. What they're seeing or what they're saying is that Prince Harry is supposed to be up in the royal family. He's gonna be next up. All right. But in order for Meghan to be a queen, historically should be white, European and white. All right. Or in order for that at least hold a place in the royal family, a high standing place in the royal family, she should be at least white. Okay, but again, this is the first time that we've seen this. All right. If you don't know, the queen and the royal family tend to keep issues private. All right, they don't talk about it. The monarchy doesn't say anything. All right, but again, Harry and Meghan have made waves themselves by going on TV and publicly speaking out to this about these racial issues. And I will tell you that anyone, this is a common thing. Anyone that's in an interracial relationship is going to see this in some shape or form. Okay, if you're a first generation of brown people, black people, whatever, that's getting with European, white people, whatever. All right, you're a first generation of that, or first generation of Asian getting with black, or Indian getting with white, or well, not necessarily white, with black or whatever it is. All right, you're gonna have some waves in the family because it's not necessarily traditional. Okay. Really not much here except for the image that it shows. All right. Meghan's the history, if you don't know, the history of the British Empire is very colonial, meaning that they pressured a lot of foreign countries to get into their empire. All right, it's called colonization. Basically, what they went in and they did is they pressured these foreign countries. They manipulated foreign countries, India, Jamaica, all these areas, to gain access to them, raping, pillaging, doing whatever they need to do in order to have Jamaica as a British commonwealth. These are called commonwealths. All right, they're territories, or India as a territory. Okay. Meanwhile, when they leave, when actual physical British people leave, the influence stays the same for up to 20 years. Okay, even more. You still have British made homes in the middle of India. Like, come on. Anyway, the Commonwealths are very angry with the UK. Commonwealths of territories, because of the amount of nonsense that the British Empire has placed on them. The British monarch is currently head of state to many countries in the Commonwealth, which is a diplomatic coup for the UK. Okay, they're trying to say that Commonwealths could rebel. All right, but what Meghan is trying to say is that, look, I'm a darker skinned person. If there is evidence of a child, Harry and I's child, who is also darker skinned in the royal family, this should calm territories down, letting them know that it's not impossible. Just because you've been colonized and your country's been messed up by the UK doesn't mean it's not possible for you to also be in the office, or be in the royal family because of the color of your skin. Okay, you could also be in the royal family as well, even if you are from India or from Myanmar or from Jamaica, or all these other little territories that the UK has, these little islands. Okay. I don't have a picture of the baby here, but the baby is light skinned, almost looks white. I think he has a red hair as well. Okay. Concerns in the house, saying that people were, Meghan was saying she was going to kill herself because of the pressures, the amount of racism. But the HR department for the royal family said, hey, we can't help you with that and give you any mental therapist or anything like that, because you're not on payroll, technically. Which is true. She's not on payroll because she's black. All right. Which caused them to leave. They went to Canada, and then they went to LA. And now they're voicing their opinions now. Okay. I'm just going to recap real quick. Okay. Just going to recap. First, deep sea fish. There's a mouth breeder. All right. We are concerned actually with the fish and what it's doing down there. being able to host that many fish in his mouth, that many larvae in his mouth, and still being able to have enough energy to live and survive and give birth to those creatures or those species. We are very concerned with that. More importantly, we're concerned with how many other species are there down in that deep sea, region. Can't even see down there. Okay, it gives you a clue of where we may be going in our discoveries. If same thing that is below is also above. So we're going out into space trying to look for things. We're now going deeper into the water to find more things down there. And we may find some stuff. All right, that may be very interesting. All right, number 2, Russia building this pipeline. Look, you're not gonna stop Russia from doing what it wants to do. It's already 96% complete, 92% complete. All right, 764 miles in the middle of the Baltic Sea. All right, it's already there. All right, Biden's got to say something. Okay, other European countries are gonna have to say something. But again, if it's Russia and Germany, this pipeline is going straight to Germany. That's the agreement they made. Okay, that's what they want to do, and I'm not sure what kind of political nonsense this is gonna cause. I didn't expect to see them put a pipeline there. I expected more of them to impact south, where Iran is, and like through Ukraine and down south through those Middle Eastern countries. But I guess they're still, I guess Russia is holding base in Europe, trying to influence the more eastern part, not necessarily the western part, because Germany is Eastern Europe. And if they can do that, you may have another wall built there separating the same Western and Eastern Germany. You see what I'm saying? You may have the same wall built there in the middle between Western Europe, Eastern Europe. Okay. 3rd, with the royal family interracial relationships. Look, I want to make this a global statement and say that anytime that you delve from the norm, there's going to be issues. Okay. This is a huge hit because these 2 people are literally taking on the entire royal family, and it's happening on the inside. It's like another version of a coup. It's like a racial coup. Like they essentially may destroy a whole monarchy, or revamp an entire monarchy, modernize it, just from an interracial relationship. There are different ways to get a job done. All right, as far as government goes, there's different ways to fall a government, and doing something like this is one way. All right, by marrying an outside person who has literally no one involved, marrying an outside person and bringing them into power. That's one way to do it. All right, that's essentially what Prince Harry is doing. All right. All right, we're going to end something I always like to end with a little bit of rest and relaxation. All right. Inhale. Exhale. Okay. All right, the beat you here right now is Junior Mafia. Get money. Get dough. All right. And look, peace, love, and use your head for more than a hat rack.